Hello and welcome to another episode of Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. We're just doing some supports. Just gonna get that out of the way quickly, and then we'll get on with the main mission. So, Mutai Joe.
Hey, Rodrigue, you got a sec?
What's the matter? You look troubled.
Well, we ended up spending most of this winter out on the battlefield. So, I was thinking, if we put an end to the war before next winter rolls around, maybe we could all go back north and...
And? Speak plainly.
I want to have a snowball fight. Dimitri said that's how all the kids in Fargus played during the winter. I figure it'd be good to try at least once, now that I'm living here in the kingdom.
Yes, a fine idea. The sport's rather profound, if I do say so myself. Dividing into factions and formulating strategies makes it just as much a battle of minds as it does one of hurled snow.
Hold on, strategy? It sounds kinda intense for a kid's game.
It is. When we were still in the throes of our youth, Lambert, Matthias, and I faced off in such a contest. With our squires in tow, we traveled to the northern mountains to do battle.
Hey, that sounds like fun. So, what happened?
I was the first to fall. I hid in the shadows, biding my time and observing the enemy's movements until the moment was right to strike. And yet, such an opportunity never came. While his subordinates fought freely in the open, His Majesty launched a surprise attack on my position. Unfortunately, my men and I were unable to land even a single blow on him. Our defeat was a matter of course.
Now I know where Dimitri gets his tendency to rush into battle alone. Like father, like son, huh?
Indeed. Still, it's difficult to feel wronged when you've been defeated in such a swift and skillful manner. My downfall left only Lambert and the Margrave, a man notorious for his rotten character even as a child. His strategy was not to attack outright, but to prepare an ambush for His Majesty in one of the more densely wooded groves.
Seriously? All that for just a snowball fight? No wonder Sylvain is so cunning. Anyway, what happened next?
We were all familiar with Matthias's ignoble tactics, so His Majesty was careful to avoid the cowardly ambush which had been laid for him. At last, just as the opposing generals were staring each other down, Gunnar, the current Count Galatea and noble, many years our senior, emerged from the wood to put a stop to it. In the end, our final showdown that day was between his hands and the scruffs of our necks, all while our ears rang with his dire warnings about the mountains.
That sounds like Ingrid's dad, all right. Guess that means nobody won, huh?
Yes, the story dates back several decades, but I still remember it as if we were trudging through the snow only yesterday. Say, if you do end up mustering an army for one of these snowball battles, I would be honored to observe, should you have me.
Why don't you join us? As one of the combatants, I mean. I'm sure Dimitri and the Margrave won't mind. You won't be facing the same opponents, but maybe then you'll finally settle the score. For old time's sake.
A sound point. Very well. I'd be thrilled to partake when the time comes. You know, of late I've been dreading the coming winter, but now I feel I may actually look forward to it.
Do you have a moment, Rodrigue? There's something I'd like to ask you.
Anything for you, Your Majesty. What is it?
I want to hear your side of the story.
Of which story exactly?
How did you feel when you learned of my father's death? I've struggled to ask this before, but I want to know.
So that's what you mean. Honestly, I had a difficult time believing it at first. But as moons passed, I gradually grew to accept the reality of it. And of course, I recalled the promise I'd made him, and vowed to myself that I would carry it out.
I wonder then, had I died alongside my father and Glenn and Dusker, what would you have done? You know, a fleeting thought flashes across my mind every time I see you reflect upon my father. It feels as though you aspired not just to stand beside him in life, but to meet death with him as well.
Don't overthink it, Your Majesty. I'm a pretty stubborn guy, you know. No, I didn't wish for my own death when Lambert passed. But sometimes I think that if I have to die to honor my promise to him, I would be satisfied with that.
I won't allow you to throw your life away, Rodrigue. I'll not have you stolen from me by that promise. Losing you would be almost like losing my father for a second time. If you were to die because of me, it would destroy me.
You may say that, but a subject lives by the example their king sets for them. And I know well enough that you don't value your life either. So if you'd like me to place more importance on my life, I urge you to do the same, Your Majesty.
You're right. I have no excuse.
No, I should apologize. That came out rather more harsh than I intended. You sounded so much like Lambert just now, I simply couldn't hold myself back. In truth, that's something I've wished I could have said to him for a long time now. Yet, you were the one who had to bear the brunt of it. I suppose I can hardly poke fun at Matthias for holding on to that sword all those years, can I?
I sounded like my father?
Indeed you did. Remember the story of the sword? About how I got stuck behind enemy lines like a fool? Well, the first thing Lambert said after he broke through their forces was, "Don't throw your life away like that." Not that it was too convincing coming from a guy covered in cuts and scrapes.
I can't imagine. It sounds as though you two were very close. I envy him for having such strong bonds with his friends.
Don't let my son catch you saying that. Pretty sure he'd take offense. Anyway, that's enough reminiscing for one day. How about you try squeezing some memories out of Matthias next time?
A fine idea. Perhaps I'll invite Sylvain and the others to join in as well.
Everyone is strangely abuzz today. Is there a visiting minstrel or a mummer's troupe?
Haven't you heard, mister? A funny knight's been coming to town recently.
A funny night, hey?
Oh, yeah, he's super strong. He can carry all the blacksmith stuff by himself. And he got those guys who kept picking fights at the tavern to finally shut up. But he's also kind of weird, too. Like when you talk to him, sometimes he seems sheltered and obtuse, but then sometimes not.
Why does that sound like... No, it couldn't be.
Yuri, what are you doing here?
I knew it.
I'm glad I ran into you. We have a broken wagon that needs fixing, and I could use a hand.
I can't believe you. Come with me a second. Are you an idiot? What are you doing here?
I had some time on my hands and thought I'd see how things are going in town.
Then stick to the more upscale streets. This alley is dangerous. It's not quite a full-blown slum, but money is still in pretty short supply. What are we supposed to do if someone introduces our king to a nice pointy knife while he's out wandering the streets? By himself, might I add.
How am I supposed to learn what it means to be a commoner without using my own eyes? All I ever see from my throne are the upscale streets, as you call them. And yes, I could send someone here in my stead, but there is no substitute for first-hand experience.
You know you don't have an heir, right? If you die, the entire region gets thrown into a bloody civil war over who gets to succeed you. Lots of nobles will die, but the commoners? The commoners will be absolutely slaughtered. Right now, people seem to like you, so it's in all of our interest that you live a long and healthy life. Got it? And if you insist on coming here, at least bring that giant oaf of yours along to watch your back.
Perhaps I was being a bit reckless.
It's good to know that even a fool like you can see reason on occasion.
In that case, might I ask you to act as my bodyguard today? I'm certain you're more than up to the task.
What?
If I could get a look at this town through your eyes, I think I could learn many valuable lessons. Besides, if I ask to do, he'll surely forbid me from coming here at all. I would be grateful if you would consent to doing this favor for me.
Oh, this is rich. A king asking me for help. Fine. In that case, your majesty. I will do all in my power to safeguard your royal person. Happy?
You seem to be staring at me, Yuri. What's wrong?
Just thinking how odd it is that you've grown so accustomed to a town like this.
Well, I like this place, and its people. There may be a few vagabonds in the darker alleys. That just shows how accepting everyone is. They all greet me with smiles, despite my being a complete stranger to them.
Oh, they'd change their tune pretty quickly if they knew you were the king. Anyway, have you enjoyed your little tour of this garbage heap? Did you get a good look at the town through my eyes or whatever it is you wanted?
Yes, and it's also got me thinking about how best to help those of more meager standing. Originally, I thought that establishing medical facilities or investing in the church were the best pathways to this cause. But after seeing the people here, I realized they are not indigents standing around with open hands awaiting salvation.
I'd love to unpack your definition of indigent, but yes, they certainly don't take things lying down.
Maybe it's idealistic, but I think regents should rule in a way that not just nobles, but everyone can see as reasonable. But to accomplish that, a ruler must take the opportunity to truly listen to the people. Of course, I can't go around visiting every burg and hamlet personally. I realize this. But I still feel this is the key to true reform.
Well, good on you if you actually manage to accomplish that. But it isn't going to be easy. First, you have to give the poor a minimum level of education. Of course, they're already fully capable of telling you when they're hungry or if taxes are too high. But they'll need education to understand the policies and laws established by their lords and hold any kind of thoughtful opinion on them.
Education, you say? Yes, that makes a great deal of sense.
Problem is, people aren't in the mood to learn anything when they don't know where their next meal is coming from or where they'll sleep that night.
Right. Improving quality of life is first and foremost. Education can be built upon that. Now, sadly, none of this will be cheap, and the current war is doing a fine job of draining our coffers. Which means I need to end it as soon as possible.
So the main problem comes down to money, huh? In that case, why not make use of us? If you need funds, I can introduce you to a wealthy merchant or three. And if you need to get some dirty work done, I can lend you a few of my men. All we need in exchange is for you to provide us a little bit of support.
I'll not permit you to work evil in my name. And besides which, Tales of how you and your band have eaten lords out of house and home are legend.
But you're a different matter entirely, Your Majesty. If we join forces, my dream is sure to be realized. I swear to never allow you to fall victim to any vile practices. You have my honest word on that.
And what is this dream of yours?
I'll tell you about it in due time. But for now, Your Majesty, do you accept my proposal?
I will consider it. After spending time together, I've come to want to trust you.
I promise it'll be the best decision you ever make. But until then, I'll patiently await your reply.
Oh, Dedu. Must be my lucky day if I'm running into you here. Hey, what's with the scowl? Do we have a problem?
All the residents in this town are people of Duscar. It may be within the kingdom, but it holds neither monastery nor church. What is your reason for coming here?
Wait, Dimitri and Lady Rhea didn't tell you?
They did not.
I know everyone's been busy, but that's unacceptable. Well, there was a major fire here, right? Lady Rhea asked us to come help rebuild. We brought rations, too. Never hurts to have a little more food in your stores. So relax, please. I swear on the goddess herself that we don't intend to harm any of you.
I did ask His Majesty to spare some aid in rebuilding the town. But I did not expect the task to fall to you.
What kind of church are we if we don't help those in need? Besides, we owe Fargus quite the debt. You guys took us in, even going as far as to start a war with the Empire in the process. This is the least we can do to return the favor.
Surely the Knights of Seiros have long since repaid their debts on the battlefield.
Maybe the knights have, but the monks and scholars won't let us hear the end of it if we don't let them pitch in too. So when Lady Rhea heard about the fire, she apparently jumped at the chance to help.
Is that so?
I know the people of Duscar will have their concerns, since they're not followers of Seiros. But it'll all be fine. And we can't just sit around twiddling our thumbs while people out there desperately need help, can we? At least, that's how all of us who follow the teachings of Lady Rhea view it. You're free to supervise if you still don't trust us.
No. You seem to be speaking the truth. His Majesty has expressed similar sentiments in the past. I believe your desire to help is sincere.
Thanks, Dedu. I was starting to think you were about to tell us to pack up and go home. Well, now that we're all square on that front, point us toward what needs the most help. We'll do manual labor, planning, you name it.
In that case, I'd ask that you clear away the burnt wood and help distribute food to the townsfolk. I will explain to everyone what you're doing here.
Yes, that's probably for the best. I'm sure they'll be much more willing to listen to you. Anyway, we'd better get to work. Hey, Dedu. I've been thinking. Fargus has really changed lately.
How do you mean?
I don't know. That's just the feeling I get when I see what goes on in this town. Don't you agree? It's like everyone here trusts you unconditionally, even though you serve the King of Fargus, someone they should hate with all their hearts. It must have taken a lot of hard work to rebuild that trust. I'm honestly impressed.
The achievement is not my own. His Majesty has been striving towards this for some time now.
Huh. When you put it that way, makes me think he must have been planning it all along. I mean, people used to say he wasn't right in the head when he first chose you as his retainer, but he clearly had reason for doing so.
Yes, I can still hear the echoes of their gossip in my ears. The castle was full of it. It led me to ask His Majesty why he saved my life. He replied that neither faith nor birth are of import when a person's life is in danger.
Lady Rhea has told me the same thing. She saved me once a long time ago, just like Dimitri did for you. Twice, actually, even though I don't have a religious bone in my body. It's gotta be in their blood to never abandon someone in need.
Perhaps His Majesty and the Archbishop aren't as dissimilar as I thought.
True. Neither of them seem to let their lofty positions go to their head. They have that in common, too.
I'm not sure I follow.
Well, despite her role as Archbishop, it's not too uncommon to find Lady Rhea at an orphanage, playing with the children. And Dimitri's the same way, right? I heard he was off teaching some village kids how to fight just the other day.
Yes, that is true. Though I'd prefer he spend his free time at rest instead.
Hey, helping people is calming in its own way, right? So if making sure he's well rested is part of your job, I say you let him do that however he sees fit.
That's one way of viewing things. I'll think on it.
I suppose we probably understand each other better than most, serving such similar leaders.
You're suggesting that you and I have much in common as well.
Maybe. Either way, it's been a real joy talking to you. We've probably been through a lot of the same ups and downs in life if I had to guess. In time, I bet we could even become friends. So long as our bosses stay in each other's good graces.
Agreed. Though, if they were to part ways.
Whoa, no need to go there. I think we both know what would happen if they ever chose to cross swords. We'd kill each other without hesitation. I'm sure we have that in common, too.
Go ahead.
Oh boy! But wait, if I eat that, what are you gonna eat?
I'll buy something from one of the merchants outside.
But that costs money! This is my second helping. Or maybe third. I can't remember. Anyway, if anyone's gonna be paying for extra food, it should be me.
In that case, I'll take you up on... Wait, was that thunder?
Nope. Just my stomach. Sorry to scare you. I tell ya, I can't wait for this war to be over so I can eat as much as I want.
Look, skipping a full portion won't kill me. Why don't you take half?
Wow! You mean it? Thanks a bunch, meat buddy.
Meat buddy? Wait, is that me?
Yeah, you love it as much as I do. So that makes us meat buddies.
Whatever you say.
Hey, I've got an idea. If there isn't enough to go around, we should go hunting. That way everyone can have their fill.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I know! Come on, we'll hit up the nearby forest. Petra says there's a ton of game there.
Just so happens I have some free time on my hands, so let me finish my lunch and I'll be ready.
All right! Meat buddies are unstoppable!
Wait, you forgot your food! He really is something.
Hey, Felix! Want to go work out?
Quiet! You'll give away my position.
Oops, sorry. Didn't realize you were hunting. I'll just back off and, Whoa, look at that! I've never seen a boar that big. If we take it down, we'll eat like kings! Kings, I tell you!
Hang on, you don't just rush into a fight against a beast like that. You need the proper equipment.
Ah, don't worry. Petra taught me a special technique. Now lead the way, meat buddy!
All right, fine. Anyway, as I was saying, if we aren't adequately prepared, we'll be the ones who end up as someone's dinner. Boars are naturally cautious beasts, but this one also appears to be wounded. If it spots us, it'll charge and send us to an early grave.
Wait, have you fought one of these before?
Years ago, but yes. It managed to get away, though.
Wow! It must have been one heck of a beast if even you had trouble taking it down.
House Blathid and House Fraldarius used to go on hunting trips together. On one trip, a certain prince bagged so many animals it proved impossible to fit them all on the sled. Meanwhile, I went off hunting on my own, encountered the boar, and barely escaped with my life.
Wait, why would Dimitri want to kill you? Or do you mean like an actual boar?
While this may not be the same boar, I will get no small amount of satisfaction if we manage to bring it down.
Hold on, who are we talking about here? Whatever. Let's do this thing!
I'll share the spoils with you, but the kill is mine. Now stand back.
Wait, but if you take it on by yourself, won't you just lose again?
What did you say?
Haven't you heard that 2 fists are better than 1? Or, I guess it'd be 4 fists are better than 2.
I'm not confident even that will be enough, but fine. I suppose adding more fists to the mix never hurt anyone. Curses, it spotted us. Nothing for it now. Come on, Raphael.
Come at me, boar. I'll punch you so hard the chef won't even need to tenderize you.
Don't attack it head on, fool! Circle around to the rear!
Yeah! We did it!
I can't believe we took it down so quickly.
Told you this was a 4-fist job!
I guess you did. Maybe there's something to this whole working with friends thing after all.
Aww, you called me your friend. Took you long enough.
Cram it. We need help carrying this back, so let's go find some extra hands.
Felix, wait up!
Ignatz, I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, hello, Sylvain. Do you need something?
Yeah, I actually... Oh, were you painting? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. What can I do for you?
Actually, I was hoping you could take a look at this painting I brought back last time I was home.
This style is rarely seen in Fargus. It might be the work of an Imperial painter.
Agreed. I don't think I've seen this style of brushwork used much in the kingdom. My father's first wife was an Imperial noble, so maybe it was hers?
I never knew that. Still, it's quite stunning.
I know, right? That lady's really something.
I didn't mean the woman herself. Though, of course, she's lovely too. The features of her face suggest such kindness. She actually resembles Lady Rhea in a way.
The thing is, I have no idea who she is or if she even exists in real life.
Is that why you came to me? To see if I could uncover her identity?
Pretty much. I really love this thing, so it's been bugging me for years. I thought maybe you could finally scratch the itch for me. I mean, everybody knows you're the go-to guy for anything related to art.
Well, I'll do what I can, but please try not to get your hopes up. There's still a great deal I don't know. Though I must admit, my curiosity has been piqued as well.
Oh, really? Thanks. I wouldn't have the first clue about how to go about this on my own. I mean, I'd at least have something to go on if it was a religious painting, but us kingdom folk pretty much only care about fighting, you know? And our art books are, well, let's just say they're lacking, and leave it at that.
Yes, I'm well aware. Sadly, while religious art has continued to thrive and grow, the same can't be said for its secular counterparts. I do get the impression that this portrait may actually be related to the Church of Saros, though.
You think? I don't know. I haven't noticed any of the usual elements of a Saros composition.
As I'm sure you know, paintings of legendary and sacred figures all share a certain pattern. Which is to say, they're frequently depicted with their associated symbols.
Yeah, like Saint Saros with swords and Saint Sethaline with fish. But I don't see anything even close to that here.
Look at the birds. Don't they seem strangely prominent to you?
I guess, now that you mention it. Okay, so who was associated with birds? Saint Macula, maybe? No, Saint Macula was a guy. This is nothing like how he's usually depicted either.
I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable, Sylvain. No offense. To be honest, I always thought the two of us lived in entirely different worlds.
Come on, you should know me better than that. I'm the biggest art connoisseur in all of Fargus. Though, I admit, at first I only studied it to impress the ladies.
Sorry. I guess we still live in different worlds after all.
Hey, Ignatz. How goes the research?
I've actually learned a fair number of things about your painting. Based on the canvas and pigments, I've managed to narrow down the era when it was made. I believe it to be from roughly 200 years ago, around the time the Officers' Academy was founded at the monastery.
Wow, I'm impressed you can nail it down that specifically. I knew you'd come through for me.
Well, the vivid blue pigment of her clothes is very distinctive. It's a rare kind of Almiran paint made from crushed gemstones. And it only came to Fodlan 2 centuries ago, after Almira invaded.
Which means the painting can't be any older than that, yeah?
Exactly. Oh, and the material used for the canvas is... Well, if I went into every detail, we'd be here all day. What about you, Sylvain? Did you learn anything? I heard you were trying to track down some books in the capital.
Yeah, I read up on the saints. Turns out birds are definitely one of St. Macula's things. But I also found a weird story about an archbishop from 2 centuries ago. I'm guessing her reign got cut short due to illness because I didn't recognize the name at all. Anyway, on the day she died, white birds apparently flocked to the monastery and started mourning.
If that took place 2 centuries ago, she might be the person in this painting.
Yeah, it all seems too connected to be a coincidence.
Still, her clothes seem rather plain for an archbishop of the time.
Yeah, I wonder why. They were usually into fancy robes and big hats and all that.
Maybe it's more of a symbolic representation than an actual portrait. It could be designed to show how she was humble and supportive of the poor and downtrodden. Or perhaps she just wanted to be represented without all the trappings of her office. Of course, I'm just guessing here. I have no actual proof of anything.
Hey, I'm spitballing too. I mean, I don't even know for sure that she was an archbishop. Still, is it just me or does she look a lot like Lady Rhea?
Well, yes, I suppose she does. But that has to be a coincidence, right? The position of archbishop isn't hereditary, and I doubt they could be related in any way.
Yeah, you're right. Probably just the overall ambiance that makes them seem similar. Anyway, who knew I'd find something like this hiding in my house? Pretty crazy, huh? I'm really glad I showed you. Not knowing would have probably bugged me for the rest of my life otherwise.
No, thank you. I'm truly glad to have come across this piece. Both because I got to know a stunning work of art and because I learned more about you in the process. You're much easier to talk to than I imagined, and quite a bit more interesting as well.
Glad we could clear up that little misunderstanding, because I'm all about making new friends.
I feel just the same.
Sorry about earlier, Ignatz. I wasn't much help at all.
No, it's fine. You actually did a lot. If anything, your stories of Gustav just helped to confirm what I was thinking.
That you're not cut out to be a knight? Is that what you were going to say?
Exactly. You're pretty sharp, Annette.
Well, since I'm the one that brought on this misunderstanding, I'd better clear it up.
What misunderstanding?
Look, my father is clearly an incredible knight, and everyone knows it. But if everyone was a knight just like him, we'd still end up losing every war we fought. Don't let looks fool you. He's sloppy when it comes to taking care of himself. Also, he can be stubborn as a mule, and he's a complete worrywart to boot.
But he's maybe the best fighter in the land, and isn't that what a knight's job entails?
Not necessarily. The thing is, there are all kinds of different people who report to my father. And most are excellent fighters, sure, but then there are others who can barely even ride a horse. Yet my father relies on them all the same.
But how can he rely on a knight who can't fight?
Because they have other skills. For example, a handful of his reports know absolutely everything about cooking and ingredients. Imagine they're under attack and rations are running low. Those people tell the others what ingredients to gather and use them to make food, which allows everyone to fight another day.
Which is how they gain his trust.
Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and it's a commanding officer's job to know what those are and give orders accordingly. And sure, all of this comes secondhand from my father, but I also know it's true. So, I don't think there's any reason for you to be so pessimistic. Charging directly into the gut of the enemy's main force isn't the only way for a knight to be useful.
So, you really think I'm still helping in some way?
Absolutely. Maybe it's your skill in painting, or your knowledge about works of art, or how carefully you always look at your surroundings. You have a lot of strengths, and it would be a real pity to bury them all under an avalanche of, "I'm not cut out for this kind of thing."
You know what? You're right. There are all kinds of different people in our army. And in that case, I think I'll keep trying to be a better knight.
I'm so glad to hear that. This was really weighing on me, so I couldn't just let it go. And hey, you know how I always make a mess of things the second I lose my focus? Well, I used to get really worried about that for the same reason as you. I thought I was holding everyone back.
Really? But you help us all the time, Annette. I mean, if not for you cheering me up, I probably would have resigned from my knighthood.
Oh, that makes me so happy, Ignatz. I'm really glad I could help. I know we both have our own sets of worries to deal with, but we'll just keep working hard together.
And I know I can work harder if I'm with you.
Never thought we'd get the chance to fight side by side again. It was a total surprise, to be honest. But I'm actually pretty happy with how things shook out. I know. You're still as cold as ice, you know that? Would it kill you to say you're happy to see me or something? Sorry to disappoint. Nah, I actually kinda missed it. Besides, that's just how you are. So, what have you been up to since you left the Knights? I spent some time in Leicester as a mercenary. Not many people know me there. But you already knew that. You sent for me, didn't you? You mean back at the battle at Aryan Road, right? Actually, the Knights were just throwing my name around to recruit all the mercenaries they could. I had no idea you'd be one of them. Huh. So it really was just a coincidence. What about you? Still serving as Rhea's sword? Lady Rhea. I'll let that slide since you're not a Knight of Seiros anymore. But to answer your question, yes. No matter who I'm swinging it at, my sword will always belong to her. Honestly, I was surprised to hear you'd slipped away after repaying your debt to Lady Rhea. You didn't even say goodbye. I was furious. I guess sneaking out was the right call then. I was running around, shouting that I'd drag you back to Garreg Mach and kill you myself. But then Lady Rhea took me to task. She said it wasn't fair for me to impose the Church's values on someone who wasn't from Fodlan. Sounds like I owe her another one. For what? I wasn't really going to kill you. I'll take your word for it. You know, I've fought alongside a lot of people since I left. But you're still the only one I trust to have my back. So what you're really saying is that you missed me and wish you never left? You basically said the same yourself, didn't you? But yes, I did miss you. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. For once, I'm glad I was wrong. Would you look at that? You have changed. And I feel the same. Really. I couldn't ask for a better partner than you. But if you disappear on me again, so help me, I really will hunt you down. Then the next time I go somewhere, I'll just have to drag you with me.
Well, I think that's that for the whole route. Everyone I could possibly recruit on this. Time to just go through the story and go through the next route. Okay, guys.